Do you need a prayer for a job offer? If you do, there is a prayer for you as well as encouragement to help you keep going. Looking for work is never fun, and interviewing can be incredibly stressful, especially when you have been out of work for a while. Which leads me to my story and prayer for a job offer. Are you praying for a job breakthrough? I was too. It was about 10 years ago now. The economy was bad and a lot of people were getting laid off from their jobs all across the county. Unfortunately, I did too. When I found out about being laid off, it hit me like a ton of bricks. You see, I had just relocated for a job to a new state far from my friends and family and was on my second year with this company. It was midday on a Friday. I still remember it like it was yesterday. The entire staff was called into a meeting, and 30 minutes later, over half of the company was notified that they had been laid off. It was a horrible day that only got worse later on. Without going into great detail of everything that happened, the first thing I did was go home and pray. Have you ever felt totally lost and unsure of what to do next? That's how I was feeling at this moment. I prayed and afterward felt a little better. Still unsure what to do, I kept up my prayers and started looking for a new job. I decided to move back home and get a fresh start. As I was packing, I heard God tell me to leave within the next 2 days. I didn't know why, but I listened to him and I'm really glad I did. Almost as soon as finished packing and filling up my car with the rest of my belongings, a major ice storm hit. I hurried out of the state. As I continued driving, the storm was just behind me. It felt as if I was being chased by it. Finally, about 2 states away, I was far enough away from the storm that I didn't need to worry about it anymore. I still had over 1,000 miles to drive and I was alone and really unsure of my decision to leave the way I did, but it was too late for that now. As I continued to drive, I kept praying throughout my journey and asking God for direction as well as a new job. It took me almost 3 days to finally arrive back home to family. Once I did, I was relieved to be there, but also saddened about everything I'd been through. I asked everyone I knew with help in praying for a job breakthrough. I spent a full 8 to 12 hours every day looking for work and get my first interview about 4 weeks after the layoffs. Then another interview and another. By the end of that week, I had 5 interviews. I was feeling confident a new job was right around the corner. Then a trend kept happening. These companies were calling back and informing me that they too were having layoffs and were putting a hold on all interviews. I was down to 1 interview after losing 4 to cancellations. Still, I kept optimistic because it was a job I really wanted, and I had been out of work for about 6 weeks at that time. Since I still had several months' worth of money to count on, I wasn't all that worried yet. This continued on for several months, hours of filling out the applications and then going on more interviews. Now money was running out and I was getting stressed out, as well as burned out from putting in so much effort and still not getting a job. I kept praying, but it felt like God wasn't listening. God, please help me find a job. I urgently needed a prayer for a job offer. A full year had gone by and still no job. This was quickly becoming an emergency for me. All of my unemployment was used up and I didn't have much left in savings. I never expected to be out of work this long, I kept telling myself. In a normal economy, I was always able to get a job quickly. The only thing that made me feel better was keeping in touch with old co-workers and finding out that a lot of them were struggling too. So it wasn't just me. Not that it's okay for them to suffer, but knowing I wasn't the only one somehow made me feel a little better about things at the time. Then I took a break from looking at work and hours of filling out applications and decided to take a few days off. I needed to step away and regroup. Going for a long walk, I was talking with God and praying. I felt a peace come over me, like everything would work out. Then that feeling increased. I just had a feeling my new job was going to be mine very soon. I had been on almost 100 job interviews and was running out of new jobs to apply to. Without God, there was really no reason for me to feel at peace. My money was almost all gone, and I didn't know what I would do if that happened. Yet, I just keep believing that God would come through for me and that my prayers would be answered. I was correct in feeling like a new job would soon be mine because one of the jobs I had interviewed for 7 times called me back after almost 2 months. So much time had gone by, I figured they weren't interested. I was wrong. They offered me the job. Of course I accepted. and a month later was finally working again. This meant I had just enough money to last me until my first paycheck. Thank God. I was thanking God so much I couldn't believe the search for employment was finally over. Finding a job, especially when you have been looking for a long time, can test your faith as it did mine. You might not have to go through as long a period without work as I did or go on as many interviews. But no matter how long it is, God does hear your prayers. He wants you to work and is making a way as well as opening doors for you to find employment. Make sure to be close to God, and He will be close to you too. I hope you have found some encouragement in my story and that you get the job you want soon. If you have a story of your own, please leave them in the comments. Till next time, God bless you.